If those words are real, this isn't just relationship drama anymore. It's strategy, a cold, calculated game unfolding in public while the real moves happen off camera. Suddenly, every post, every deletion, every emotional outburst looks different. What once seemed impulsive now feels deliberate. Right after a particularly viral screenshot circulated, Blueface went completely silent. No posts, no live streams, no responses. For someone known for reacting immediately and publicly, this disappearance felt unnatural, almost alarming. Silence from someone at the center of a storm rarely signals calm. It signals control, knowledge, or both. Christian Rock mirrored the silence. No statements, no subtle reactions, nothing. Two central figures, global attention, and complete radio silence. That's not coincidence, it's tension building. And tension this intense doesn't fade quietly, it explodes. As speculation reached a fever pitch, a new rumor emerged. Something bigger, some major reveal was supposedly on the horizon. Some whispered it could be a never-before-seen video, others a damning audio clip, or a carefully timed statement held back for maximum impact. No one knew when, but the anticipation itself was unsettling. Everyone sensed that what had already happened might be only the setup. The real story, the part that could shift perceptions entirely, was still locked away. Everything we've seen, the posts, the deleted messages, the live streams, the leaks, was chaos enough. But the biggest question now is simple. What happens when the final missing piece drops? If the events so far have caused this level of division, imagine the storm that could erupt once the full truth is revealed. It could change how the world sees this relationship, rewriting the past, the present, and everything in between. And yet we wait. We refresh timelines, analyze every hint, and debate every fragment of information. Deep down, there's a shared understanding. This isn't over. Something is coming. And when it hits, it could either clarify everything or plunge the story into even deeper confusion. Think about it. Do you really believe everything we've seen? Or do you suspect there's still a major piece being deliberately withheld? At this point, it's not just about what happened. It's about what we're not being told. That's where the tension becomes dangerous. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you standing with Blueface? Do you think Chrissy Rock has been misunderstood this whole time? Or is the truth hidden on both sides? The comment section has already become a battlefield, and I want to know where you stand. This isn't fleeting celebrity drama. This story evolves, intensifies, and clearly isn't finished. With every leaked post, cryptic message, and unexplained silence, the stakes get higher. So hit that like button if you want updates as this develops. Subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next bombshell. The next twist could finally reveal the layers we've all been missing. One final thought. What if the biggest twist hasn't happened yet? If the hints are real, the next reveal won't just shock the internet. It could completely change how you see this entire story. Stay ready. Something is coming. And when it does, we'll be here breaking it all down. For fans, what started as a music collaboration has quickly evolved into a spectacle that blends artistry, drama, and endless speculation. Social media erupted with debates about who was right, who was wronged, and what this entire situation says about loyalty and respect in a music industry often criticized for its cutthroat nature. The public can only piece together fragments, leaks, cryptic posts, insider rumors, and interpretations. But each piece adds fuel to a narrative that keeps growing, spreading, and captivating attention worldwide. The decision to replace NLE Choppa on a major track seems, at first glance, like a simple creative change. Yet, what many assumed would remain a private industry matter instead spiraled into something much larger. The choice sent ripples through fan communities, industry insiders, and casual listeners alike, sparking debates about respect, professional courtesy, and the unseen dynamics that govern high-stakes music collaborations. For some, this simple swap became emblematic of how quickly relationships in hip-hop can shift when commercial interests, personal pride, and public perception collide. According to multiple unverified insider reports circulating online, the final decision to remove Choppa came when the song was nearly finished. The timing made the move feel less like a routine creative adjustment and more like an abrupt, last-minute change, catching Choppa completely off guard. Sources suggest he may have first learned of the replacement through indirect channels rather than a direct conversation with the lead artist or their team. In an industry where transparency and communication are key to maintaining respect and trust, discovering such a significant change secondhand can be deeply demoralizing. leaving artists feeling undervalued, sidelined, or betrayed. Not long after, subtle signs of frustration began emerging online. Vague posts, cryptic captions, and fleeting stories hinted at disappointment without naming anyone directly. Fans who closely follow their favorite artists immediately dissected every word, emoji, and nuance, searching for connections to the sudden change in the track's lineup. One widely circulated post, though never verified, appeared to convey a sense of being pushed aside without warning. Another hinted at loyalty not being properly appreciated, a statement interpreted by fans as a direct reference to the replacement. Suddenly, the situation wasn't just about a music feature. It had become a story about perceived disrespect and professional oversight. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy's addition to the track generated its own surge of attention. His name brought instant buzz, boosted streams, and potential commercial advantage. Yet, it also fueled comparisons and debate between fan bases. What started as excitement about the music quickly shifted into an argument over who deserved the feature spot. Some fans defended the change as a strategic upgrade, pointing to YoungBoy's immense following, streaming dominance, and chart-topping history. Others felt Choppa's original contribution should have been honored, arguing that replacing him at the last minute was disrespectful and unnecessary. This division amplified the tension far beyond a simple creative choice. One side viewed the move as an intelligent strategy to maximize the song's reach. The other saw it as a deliberate slight against Choppa's artistic merit and personal contribution. The divide quickly hardened, creating two vocal camps that defended their preferred artist with increasing passion. Conversations became less about the music itself, and more about loyalty, respect, and fairness within an industry notorious for internal power plays. Insiders close to the situation claim that Choppa's private reaction was far more intense than anything seen publicly. Frustration reportedly stemmed not just from being removed, but from the manner in which the process was handled or mishandled. In the music industry, it's rarely the decision itself that leaves the deepest mark. It's the way it's communicated. Feeling blindsided, overlooked, or disrespected can turn a standard feature change into a deeply personal conflict, with emotions running hotter than anyone outside the inner circle could perceive. As the story unfolded, whispers suggested the replacement wasn't purely a strategic decision. Some sources hinted at underlying disagreements over creative direction, branding alignment, or interpersonal conflicts between the parties involved. If accurate, this would indicate the situation reflected more than a simple swap. It revealed cracks in collaboration, miscommunication, and clashing expectations. Choppa's exit may have been the surface layer of a much deeper tension brewing behind the scenes. Online reactions escalated immediately. Instead of cooling, the discussion grew louder, broader, and more intense. Fan pages tagged both artists constantly, comment sections turned into battlegrounds, and social media exploded with edits, clips, and speculative breakdowns. Each new post or snippet seemed to amplify the tension, creating a feedback loop where the public frenzy itself became part of the story. The prolonged silence from all key players only intensified curiosity. Neither Choppa, YoungBoy, nor the lead artist made official statements, leaving fans to interpret every online gesture, or lack thereof, as a clue. What could have been handled with a single professional message spiraled into endless conjecture. The focus shifted from the music to perceived personal dynamics, with some fans questioning whether this was purely a business decision or the start of a more profound interpersonal conflict. Then came a new twist that reframed the narrative once again. Reports emerged suggesting the replacement might not have been a sudden, unilateral decision. Multiple versions of the track allegedly circulated internally, testing different features and combinations before the final version was locked in. If true, this nuance transformed the perception of Choppa's removal from a harsh, personal slight into part of a broader creative evaluation process. The narrative changed. Instead of a last-minute betrayal, the decision could now be seen as a natural step in refining the song's direction. A reminder that music production, especially at a high commercial level, is fluid, iterative, and sometimes ruthless. Even with this reframing, the drama continued. Online debates didn't subside. If anything, they intensified. The fanbase remained split, with both camps digging in, analyzing every snippet of evidence and constructing elaborate interpretations. Conversations about G respect and loyalty took on a life of their own. In the absence of official clarification, speculation became the main narrative. Social media was no longer just reacting. It was actively shaping the story, interpreting every silence, every leak, and every cryptic post. At the core of it all, the key lesson emerged. Music collaborations are never just about the music. They reflect relationships, power dynamics, and calculated decisions behind the scenes. What might look like a simple artist swap can ripple into fan wars, speculation, and public narratives that may outlast the song itself. For Choppa, YoungBoy, and the lead artist, this episode demonstrates how quickly professional relationships can be thrust into the spotlight, with every move scrutinized and debated endlessly. As of now, the story is far from over. The silence, the speculation, and the unresolved questions ensure that attention remains laser-focused on what comes next. Whether this situation evolves into a lasting feud, a temporary spike in drama, or a lesson in industry strategy, one thing is clear. The public has witnessed only part of a much larger, high-stakes narrative that continues to unfold. In this version of events, the removal of NLE Choppa from the track may have been more about a creative pivot than any direct personal conflict. Yet even that explanation did little to ease the mounting tension surrounding the situation. As details emerged, NBA YoungBoy's addition began to feel less like a spontaneous substitution and more like a carefully calculated strategic move. Reports suggest the decision was aimed at aligning the track with a broader audience demographic and a slightly different sonic direction. YoungBoy's fanbase, renowned for its intense engagement and streaming power, reportedly played a significant role in influencing the final commercial considerations. However, things escalated rapidly once alleged leaked comments started circulating online. These posts claimed that Choppa felt blindsided, not merely by being replaced, but by the way the entire process was handled. The absence of direct, respectful communication from those involved appeared to compound the frustration. While the authenticity of these leaks could never be verified, they nonetheless reinforced the perception that a serious breakdown in trust and coordination had occurred in the final stages of production. Fans immediately jumped into action. Threads exploded on X, formerly Twitter, with users meticulously dissecting timelines, comparing song snippets, and analyzing past interactions between the artists. Commentators speculated about broader industry politics, noting that decisions of this nature are often influenced by label priorities, market strategies, streaming metrics, and behind-the-scenes negotiations that rarely reach the public eye. The result was a volatile mix of fan-driven investigation and speculation, creating an atmosphere where every gesture, post, or omission became a potential clue to the unfolding drama. This combination of factors, poor communication, perceived disrespect, fan-driven speculation, and competing commercial interests, transformed what initially appeared to be a routine feature adjustment into one of the more unexpected and messy situations in recent hip-hop memory. The debate now revolves around questions that define artist relationships in the modern music industry. How should collaborations be managed when creative or business needs shift? What level of transparency and respect is owed between artists and their teams? And how much weight should personal pride carry when major commercial opportunities are at stake? For NLE Choppa, an artist known for his outspoken nature and refusal to accept slights quietly, the situation struck at the core of his expectations for professional treatment. Reports suggest that being removed at the last minute, and discovering it indirectly, was a deep blow to both his personal pride and his professional reputation. For NBA YoungBoy, stepping into the feature placed him in the middle of a narrative he may not have anticipated. While his fanbase rallied instantly to defend his involvement, the comparison to Choppa created pressure and scrutiny that extended well beyond the music itself. Meanwhile, the lead artist remained at the center of public attention, with every decision scrutinized, analyzed, and debated across social media platforms. As information emerged in bits and pieces, the hip-hop community divided sharply. Some viewed this as a classic example of industry politics. Business decisions ultimately take precedence over personal feelings. Others interpreted it as symptomatic of a deeper issue, a lack of loyalty and mutual respect that can erode trust and poison collaboration. With so much speculation and no official statements, assumptions quickly solidified into perceived facts, further polarizing the discussion. One viral thread boldly claimed that nothing about the situation was random. According to this theory, feature swaps often occur when leverage shifts, power dynamics change, or strategic priorities evolve. While unverified, posts like this quickly gained traction, intensifying the debate and amplifying polarization between fans of both artists. The conversation shifted from a simple musical choice to an intricate analysis of influence, decision-making, and perceived fairness within the industry. Fan reactions grew increasingly divided as the story spread. Supporters of NLE Choppa argued passionately that removing him without clear communication represented a profound lack of respect. They highlighted his proven consistency, dedication, and loyal following as reasons why he deserved to remain on the track and to be treated with transparency throughout the process. Many emphasized that, in an industry where relationships are paramount, communication is just as critical as talent. Failing to provide direct acknowledgement for such a major decision can leave an artist feeling dismissed, undervalued, and publicly undermined. On the other side, NBA YoungBoy's supporters pushed back with equal intensity. They argued that his involvement elevated the track's commercial potential and broadened its audience reach. Citing his dominance on streaming platforms, consistent chart-topping performances, and cultural relevance, they claimed his contribution strengthened the final product both strategically and artistically. For them, the switch was a savvy business decision, not a personal slight, and even added a fresh energy to the track that enhanced its overall appeal. This sharp divide transformed the situation from a simple disagreement into a full-scale public comparison between two major rap artists. Each camp defended their favorite vigorously, dissecting every post, interaction, and public appearance as evidence to support their argument. The debate extended far beyond music, touching on questions of respect, influence, deserved opportunities, and the often invisible dynamics of power in modern hip-hop. Tension soon shifted to Choppa's perceived response, which added another layer of intrigue. Subtle online activity, including strategic likes, reposts, brief interactions, and carefully timed digital presence, was interpreted by fans as indirect signals of frustration. Even without public statements naming names or directly referencing the track, the timing and content of his activity suggested a controlled, deliberate approach to signaling dissatisfaction. Fans read into these signals heavily, believing Choppa was addressing the situation on his own terms, which further escalated speculation. The controversy became less about one song and more about the broader rules of engagement in the industry. Fans debated how artists should handle creative disputes, how respect should be communicated in collaborations, and what obligations teams owe to each other during major projects. It became clear that this was no ordinary feature swap. It was a public lesson in professional boundaries, negotiation, and the complexities of artist relationships in an industry where every move is magnified and dissected in real time. As the story unfolded, more speculation emerged. Some suggested that multiple versions of the track had been tested internally, with different features evaluated before the final decision. This reframing allowed some observers to see Choppa's removal as part of a natural creative evaluation process rather than a personal slight. Others maintained that the lack of direct communication had made the situation deeply personal, regardless of the broader strategic rationale. Meanwhile, the online discussion showed no signs of slowing down. Fan pages continued to dissect every post, timeline, and clip, attempting to piece together what was real, what was strategic, and what was merely perceived. Social media became a virtual courtroom, with supporters and detractors presenting arguments, analyzing evidence, and reinforcing their own interpretations. Every reaction, no matter how small, was scrutinized for meaning. The story highlights how the music industry operates behind the scenes, where decisions are rarely straightforward and where interpersonal dynamics, business strategy, and public perception intersect. What may seem like a minor change to the untrained eye can have ripple effects that affect relationships, reputations, and fan loyalty. For Choppa, YoungBoy, and the lead artist, this incident is a vivid example of how even a single decision can spark a broader narrative that dominates attention far beyond the song itself. As it stands, the situation is far from resolved. Silence, speculation, and the lack of direct communication have kept attention focused on the unfolding drama. Whether this escalates into diss tracks, interviews, public statements, or fades as another temporary controversy, it has already exposed underlying tensions about communication, respect, the ego in contemporary hip-hop. Fans and industry watchers alike remain glued to the story, eager to see how these dynamics will play out in the coming weeks. The saga surrounding the recent track swap in hip-hop has grown far beyond a simple creative adjustment. What might have been a quiet behind-the-scenes decision removing NLE Choppa and adding NBA YoungBoy, has instead erupted into a sprawling narrative of speculation, fan debates, and industry commentary. At first glance, this could be read as a routine move in an industry where tracks often evolve through multiple iterations. Artists are frequently added or removed during the production process based on creative direction, timing, or label strategy. Yet in this case, the explosion of online attention suggests that something more complex is at play. Industry observers have been quick to weigh in, pointing out that feature swaps are a common occurrence in hip-hop. Tracks often go through several drafts, with verses replaced, lines re-recorded, and features shifted in pursuit of a final sound. Typically, these adjustments remain behind closed doors, understood only by those directly involved. They rarely reach the public eye unless a breakdown occurs, whether that's a mismanaged communication, a personal grievance, or emotional tension left unresolved. In this instance, the persistent lack of clarity from all parties involved has amplified speculation, keeping the story trending across every platform from X, formerly Twitter, to Instagram, TikTok, and even discussion forums outside the usual fan circles. As theories began to multiply, one central question dominated online discourse. Was this merely a standard creative decision that spun out of control because of public perception and fan involvement? Or was there something deeper, a complex tangle of interpersonal tensions, misaligned expectations, or undisclosed conflicts that forced the situation into the spotlight? The answer remains unclear, but the public's reaction has made it impossible to ignore. When details of the replacement first surfaced, the story did not just trend, it exploded. Social media timelines filled with commentaries dissecting every possible angle. Fans weren't just observing, they were actively participating, drawing comparisons, and fiercely defending their chosen artist. Comment sections transformed into battlegrounds, with passionate arguments over who deserved the feature, who had been disrespected, and what the move revealed about respect, loyalty, and power in the music industry. Choppa's supporters were among the most vocal. They argued that removing him without direct communication was disrespectful, dismissive, and emblematic of a larger issue in the music business, where artists can be sidelined without acknowledgement. For many, the perceived slight went beyond the music. It touched on professional pride and personal dignity. Long threads emerged attempting to reconstruct events, analyzing deleted interactions, subtle changes in social media posts, shifts in promotional materials, and even changes in studio updates. Every emoji, every caption, and every timeline adjustment was scrutinized as potential evidence of Choppa's growing frustration. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy's fans responded with equal vigor. Many highlighted his streaming dominance, cultural influence, and proven ability to elevate tracks to mainstream success. For them, the addition of YoungBoy was a logical move, a way to expand the song's reach, enhance its commercial appeal, and inject fresh energy into the project. This contrast between fans intensified the debate, creating a head-to-head comparison between two of hip-hop's most influential young artists. Questions arose about influence, fairness, and who deserved the feature, turning a single track into a broader discussion about the inner workings of the music industry. The conversation didn't stop with fans. Content creators, commentators, and music analysts quickly joined the fray. Some framed the situation as a normal, routine occurrence in production. Tracks evolve, artists are sometimes replaced, and final decisions reflect a combination of creative vision and commercial strategy. Others amplified the drama, pointing to the lack of transparency and communication as evidence that the situation was far more contentious than the public initially understood. Even without official statements from NLE Choppa, NBA YoungBoy, or Coi Leray, the lead artist on the track, the narrative was largely shaped by public perception. And in social media, perception often wields more influence than reality. Inside industry circles, reactions were more measured. Some insiders described the incident as a standard example of shifting creative direction. Others acknowledged that while feature swaps happen all the time, the key factor determining whether such a move stays private or becomes public drama is the way it's communicated. When communication breaks down, minor adjustment can quickly escalate into viral controversies. What many observers found most striking was the silence of the primary parties. No detailed clarifications, no joint explanations, and no comprehensive accounts of what truly occurred were forthcoming. That silence, ironically, became one of the main drivers of the controversy. lack of official information allowed speculation to flourish unchecked. Memes, reaction clips, speculative edits, and fan theories proliferated across platforms. By the time anyone looked at the story carefully, it had morphed from a niche industry adjustment into a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Suddenly, the debate was not only about one track or one artist but about larger issues: respect, transparency, creative control, and the often cutthroat nature of the music industry itself. The saga became symbolic, representing how a seemingly small decision behind closed doors can ripple into global conversations. Just when the debate seemed to reach a predictable rhythm, another wave of unverified insider claims emerged, complicating the narrative even further. According to some reports, the decision to replace Choppa may have involved contractual nuances, scheduling conflicts, or label-level strategies that were never publicly disclosed. Some insiders suggested that multiple commitments and timing considerations could have played a far greater role in the final lineup than any personal animosity between the artists. A separate set of claims hinted that Choppa may have been aware of ongoing adjustments to the track earlier than fans realized, but that communication fell short of his expectations for clarity, timing, or confirmation. Viewed through this lens, the incident wasn't an abrupt ousting but a gradual breakdown in coordination that spiraled into misunderstanding. At the same time, YoungBoy's addition may have been considered independently, rather than as a direct replacement for Choppa. Yet the public narrative of a straightforward swap dominated online discourse, creating intense debate despite the nuanced behind-the-scenes reality. As these layers emerged, the situation became increasingly complex. Was it a case of miscommunication, or simply poor handling of routine creative shifts? Was it a strategic pivot that lacked explanation, or a combination of timing pressures and evolving priorities? Each possibility offered a plausible narrative, yet none were officially confirmed. The ongoing ambiguity kept fans engaged, fueled speculation, and ensured the story remained front and center in hip-hop discussion. For NLE Choppa, the perceived lack of direct acknowledgement touched a core principle of how he expects to be treated professionally. For YoungBoy, stepping into the feature added scrutiny and pressure, even as his fanbase rallied to defend him. For the lead artist, every decision now carried intense public attention. Each choice, from social media posts to promotional strategies, was dissected and debated endlessly. Choppa's supporters flooded comment sections with messages of outrage, arguing that swapping him out without a proper explanation felt disrespectful and dismissive. Some users framed the incident as symptomatic of deeper problems in the music business, where artists can be replaced without public acknowledgement, leaving them to manage the professional and emotional fallout alone. Others took a more analytical route, publishing long threads that attempted to reconstruct events by examining subtle online clues, deleted interactions, shifts in promotional materials, and any perceived changes in studio updates. YoungBoy's fanbase responded with matching energy, stressing his undeniable impact, enormous streaming numbers, and consistent influence in rap. Many insisted that his addition gave the track a stronger commercial edge, and that the final version clearly benefited from his presence, both creatively and strategically. What fueled the fire even more was the direct, head-to-head comparison fans began drawing between the two artists. Discussions raged over who carried more influence, who deserved the feature slot more, who might have been underestimated, and whether anyone was truly wronged in the process. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with arguments escalating quickly and occasionally becoming aggressive. The public's engagement highlighted a larger truth about modern hip-hop. Perception often shapes reality as much as the music itself. Fans not only influence narratives, they actively participate in constructing them. Social media threads became quasi-investigative spaces, with users piecing together timelines, interpreting subtle signals, and speculating about intent, respect, and loyalty. Every post, like, or deleted story became potential evidence in the ongoing discussion. This incident underscores the fragile balance between creative decisions and interpersonal dynamics in the music industry. A simple feature adjustment, when mishandled, can escalate into a broader controversy with long-lasting implications. Respect, communication, and clarity play crucial roles in preventing misunderstandings, yet in the digital age, even small missteps can become magnified in real time. The story also illustrates the intersection of artistry and commerce. Feature decisions aren't merely about talent. They're strategic moves informed by streaming metrics, fan engagement, and commercial potential. YoungBoy's addition, whether framed as a creative choice or a strategic move, exemplifies how artists and labels navigate these pressures, balancing the artistic vision with the realities of audience impact. Meanwhile, fans remain deeply invested, fiercely debating the implications of each move. Choppa supporters emphasize professionalism, loyalty, and fairness, while YoungBoy fans stress commercial strategy, audience engagement, and artistic contribution. The resulting divide reflects larger conversations about respect, opportunity, and the dynamics of power in contemporary hip-hop. Even without direct statements from the artists, the controversy continues to evolve. Memes, theory threads, and breakdown videos keep the story alive, while speculation about contractual and scheduling factors adds additional layers. Every passing day introduces new interpretations, ensuring that the discussion doesn't fade quickly. Whether this escalates into diss tracks, interviews, or public statements, or fades into another chapter in the cycle of industry drama, remains to be seen. At this stage, the saga has grown beyond a single track swap. It is now a case study in modern music culture, how creative decisions, fan involvement, industry politics, and public perception interact to shape narratives. The controversy exposes the fragility of artist relationships, the impact of miscommunication, and the intense scrutiny artists face in the digital era. Ultimately, the full truth behind Choppa's removal and YoungBoy's addition may never be entirely public. Only the artists and their inner circles know all the details. Yet the story has already left a lasting mark, demonstrating how even routine decisions can spark cultural conversations that resonate far beyond the music itself. Fans, analysts, and industry insiders continue to watch, dissect, and debate, raising a persistent question. Is this the final chapter, or is there another twist still waiting to emerge? Until clarity arrives, the controversy remains both ongoing and evolving, a reflection of the complex, high-stakes world of modern hip-hop.